Let's talk about electric cars at CES. Another exciting year in Las Vegas. I just spent there 5 days, and boy, there are so many awesome things to talk about. In this video, we're going to talk about this with a good friend of mine, Nikki from Transport Evolved. I consider her a friend of the show. We ran into each other a few times, so I ended up asking her what she thought about everything that she saw. So that interview is coming up, and got to meet so many people. Made some interesting friends, like this guy over here. Couldn't fit in the same selfie with him, by the way. So that was cool. Here's another guy that you might know. His actual name is Guy, so that's kind of cool. And by the way, only more reasons I think to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And if you have, go ahead and click on that bell notification icon so you don't miss anything moving forward. Before I show you guys in my interview with Nikki, there's so many highlights that I want to talk to you about. I finally got to experience the full user interface of the Byton and Byte. This is, you'll see, this is us playing a game there, but there's so many features. I'm so excited to finally this to come around. Got to do a drive. Got to drive one of the first cars off of the production line there in the engineering factory, completely made at that factory. So that was pretty cool. My interview with Daniel, it's coming up as well. You might want to stay tuned for that. Got to talk to him about some cool stuff. This is Rivian truck. The Amazon booth was super popular. This is my conversation with Tom and with the Sony electric car, which was a big surprise behind us. That segment is coming up in a couple of days, so stay tuned for that. That was pretty cool. And of course, Fisker Ocean, man, I absolutely love this car's interior. Just so freaking clean and awesome. Of course, got to talk to Henrik for a little bit and some of the insights from him. So that video is going to be posted relatively soon. The Lightyear One, a school project turned into an electric car company. As you can see, the entire roof and hood and everything, that's just basically a bunch of solar panels there, generating pretty good electricity. This is my conversation with their CEO, Lex. Also got to learn some interesting insights. I've already posted the video. This is it on my channel, so you can see the separate video. This is the CEO and founder of Impossible Foods. I've noticed that a lot of people who watch my channel, including myself, absolutely love Impossible Foods because we're essentially tackling the same problem with, you know, from two different perspectives. And him and the president of Impossible Foods both drive electric cars, so we had a really interesting conversation. And by the way, there's so many behind the scenes videos and pictures that I'm posting on Instagram right now. So if you haven't followed me on Instagram, go ahead and do that. But for now, well, you know, it's definitely interesting to hear Nikki's perspective. As you know, she is always pursuing the not just a cleaner transportation, but also more affordable. So we had the conversation with her about that. My interview with her on her channel is already up. So before I do that, of course, a quick reminder that this video and this channel is sponsored by Byton. Check out their all-electric SUV and Byte that I'm so excited about, especially now that I saw one of the final versions of it. Go ahead and make your reservation. It doesn't take any money, $0 and about a minute of your time. So go to the description of this video and reserve your Byton today. I don't know why you wouldn't. So all right, so without further ado, let's see the conversation that I had with Nikki a couple of days ago at CES 2020 in Las Vegas.
Hey, it's good to see you once again in person at CES.
Hey Alex, it's like we haven't seen each other for years and years and years. You know, we literally just published the video I did with you like 2 days ago. So
yes, and we're gonna put that in the description on this video. Been an interesting conversation about Byton, and we're actually at their booth right now. And let's start with them, but I kind of wanted to ask you the impression that you got so far about electric cars here at CES, and you know, compare it to what you've seen last year here at CES. Are we making progress? Are we going backwards? But let's start with Byton, mine as well.
I was really actually quite surprised with the Byton. I just had the Byton experience, and I'm not one for big screens in the car. I don't like big screens everywhere. And my biggest fear, as we discovered in the conversation we had on Sunday evening, was that I was worried that the car would just be taken over with the tech. It's a very intuitive and interesting driver experience. I'm still not 100% bought by the massive screen, but I think it could grow on me. And if Byton does follow its goal of having that fourth space and setting itself apart from all of the other automakers by doing something different. And that's pretty cool. I had the conversation of, can I make this car feel more like a regular car? And the answer I got kind of was, that's not really the point. We want it to be different. We want it to stand apart from everybody else. And I think that is something that could win me over. I'm very impressed by the design, the final design of the M-Byte. It looks a lot more finished than anything we've seen before from Byton. I think that the interior design is, if you exclude the screens, very nice, very pleasant interior. I like the exterior design as well, and I like the specs. So I can see this being a win-win-win. I am concerned about it being another $45,000 expensive EV, because if we want to hit that 1.5 degrees C target, we've got, 5-6 years to do it? And we really need to stop making $45,000 cars. We need to start making $15,000 and $20,000 EVs. And that's the real challenge.
Yeah, I mean, obviously after incentive it will become $35,000, not that that's an affordable in the grand scheme of things. And with the model, I have to say, and I hope you'll agree with me when you have a maybe behind the wheel experience, that you can make that screen whatever you want to make. You can literally have two little things on that screen and that's it. And also, it actually sits pretty low. But we'll talk about it some other time. I think you'll be impressed. But tell me a little bit more about other things that you've seen here as far as electric cars. We got Fisker, we've got Nissan. What's your impression of that?
Okay, so let's start with Nissan. Nissan's kind of on the back foot right now when it comes to electric vehicles. The big brouhaha earlier this week about women not being able to deal with the cables for plugging in electric vehicles because the location of the charging ports and the size of the cables was just too much for us girls to handle. I have no idea how the all-female crew that came down from Portland in my electric car got here, but we did. We just had to stop and ask guys to help us plug in at every opportunity. But I mean, the Aria is over the top. It's more concept car than it is production car. And
really?
Yeah, I feel that it doesn't feel like a car that's ready to go into production like next week. It's a much more, in fact, and I'll say this, okay, the M-Byte, what we're seeing is a pre-production model, but the M-Byte feels like a more production-ready car than the Aria does. The Aria is still kind of quite angular and still quite over the top and still quite electric vehicle. But I really do want to see Nissan get back on board with electric vehicles, and I'm worried that it's slipping away from that. I hope that the Aria can help change that, but there's nothing I've seen yet that tells me that the Aria is going to be a high-volume production EV.
All right, let's move on from Nissan. What else did you see? Did you happen to catch the Fisker presentation? What do you think about that?
I didn't actually catch the Fisker presentation, but I've heard some good news from it. I think being able to recycle obviously plastics from the ocean is a really clever marketing, ploy. I think Fisker is, like all of these other startups, has got such a mountain to climb between here and production status. It's going to be very interesting to see if those vehicles actually make it. The car that I think the car that I'm most excited about here at CES is actually Sony's surprise concept car. It looks amazingly well built, and I have every faith that Sony has the power it needs to bring that car to production.
So let's talk about it, because I also just saw it and I thought about, okay, well, and bear with me on this one. The electric cars right now are being attempted by, startups like Byton, and I would still consider Tesla a startup, or huge manufacturers like Audi, Ford, Nissan, and so forth. But Sony is a gigantic company with a lot of money, but they can start from scratch and build an electric car. They already have the interior technology, the tech. They do know batteries also, and they just partner up with another manufacturer to build cars. Do you think this is something that can actually work and happen in the future, where, like, we're already seeing a Dyson attempt, but Sony can actually do it? What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, absolutely. What's Sony been doing for the last 20, 30, 40 years? Making electronics. Sony's been making lithium-ion batteries, been working with lithium-ion batteries for decades. It knows how to make those products at low cost. It knows Sony's always been very good with UI. in UX. It's always had that kind of ability to create iconic products. You only have to look at the Walkman for that, right? I mean, it's the company behind the Walkman. And we have a company that knows how to make vehicles in products in large volumes. And I think it can transform that over into the vehicle segment. Sony's got a massive amount of money behind it. It's going to be able to leverage its existing knowledge base into the EV market a whole lot easier than a startup. The other thing it's got behind it is brand recognition. As Sony has proven again and again and again, it's possible to transition from one form of electronics to another. Sony right now is really big in DSLRs. It's really big in video cameras. It has been for many years. It's no longer just the gadget toy market that it once was. It's expanded into a massive, massive market. And I think that if Sony can leverage that technology, which I believe it can, it's going to make a fantastic impact.
Listen, it's great to see you. I can't wait to see you next time here, same place, same time next year.
Sounds like a date, Alex.
It is always great to talk to Nikki and get her opinion. We don't always agree, and that's a great part, and that's why I love having it. But we're on the same boat. My interview with her is already posted on her channel, so check that out. Even more reasons to subscribe to this one as well. If you already have, don't forget to click on the bell notification icon so you don't miss anything moving forward. There will be quite a few videos coming out from the CES, the stuff that I've seen, some of the highlights that you see. That will be turned into to the videos. And of course, I want to thank one of my newer Patreons, Lisa. Lisa, thank you so much for joining my Patreon community. I've known Lisa for a while, actually, personally. She's part of the industry. She's awesome. So thank you so much to her and the rest of your Patreons who also get to watch me live as one of the main perks of being a supporter of this channel, because you know, you and my sponsors like Byton is how I'm able to do this full time, how I'm able to travel to all these events, create videos every day, including weekends and holidays. No matter what, you will always get a video from me, and I absolutely love this. Let me know in the comment section what do you guys think about what you've seen so far, what you've heard, especially from our conversation with Nikki. I'm sure you've seen news reports, so let me know which one you like the best. And other than that, I will see you next time, and remember to stay charged.